Another thing that changed is the layer. And this is one that I've seen in the last couple of weeks, people being confused about because they no longer know where do I need to go, for example, to change the volume of my audio. Where do I need to go to change the speed of my selection? If I make a selection on my timeline, I want to speed something up. Where do I go? Because, of course, that old sidebar doesn't change anymore to show you the relevant controls. You have to know where to go yourself. So here's an example. The layer tab is the one where you need to go when you are changing something in the script, or maybe you want to apply studio sound. Maybe you want to change the property of some object that you have on the screen. It's in the layer tab now. The layer actually reflects what you have selected. So look, if I click in my timeline, you see it disappears. I've clicked somewhere in my scene, right? For example, in this canvas area. So at the moment, I clicked outside of my video, so that means there is no selection. I have not selected anything. So then, look, the layers panel is active, and now Descript says, well, since you haven't selected a layer, I don't know what properties to show you. It just shows me the layers in the current scene. And my current scene only has the script layer here. The script layer contains my video and my audio in this case. So if I click on this script layer, now I am changing the script layer. And if you want to change the volume, for example, you have the volume control right here. Look at this. I'm dragging the volume down, so it's changing it. But if I also want to make a selection, I'm using the range tool down here. I am selecting that portion, for example. You see my volume? How I'm changing it up and down in this layer section. I muted it now. I muted it just that range. If you look down in the timeline, as I am pulling the volume up and down, I am just muting or changing the volume for that particular selection that I made. I find it a little confusing when I select the whole scene. So watch this. If I click on the scene itself, now I click on the script layer, it apparently selected all three of them. But if I change the volume now, nothing happens. You see here? So I'm not sure what happens here. If I mute this, what is it muting actually? Because there's nothing being muted. You see? So that selection of that scene, I'm not sure what it does because it doesn't do what I am expecting it to do. So if you really want to mute that portion, selecting that scene on the left and this blue selection is misleading. So you have to make sure that you maybe click in the timeline with the range tool, select what you want, like this, and then you're changing the volume. I suppose they want you to maybe select in the text. So look, I'm selecting some of the text, like a sentence there, and now I'm changing the volume of that sentence. That works. But clicking on the scene itself, despite the fact that it shows the scene is selected, and I click inside the script, now the volume doesn't do anything. So a bit confusing. Okay, so that's the layer. So everything you select has in the layer here, you change the property. So let me just show you an example. If I go to elements down here, which is where all of the shapes are, like lines, arrows, triangles, circles, dynamic text, waveforms, all of those dynamic things, they are in here in the elements, including text, right? So if I select this circle and I bring it into my scene, I'm clicking on it, you see it right there. I have only added it in this particular scene right there. See scene number 3. So now, watch this. If I go to the layers tab, I have 2 layers here. I have the script, which I was messing with before, and this ellipse. So now if I click on this ellipse, it's the same as if I clicked on it on the canvas. I can change the properties of that ellipse layer. If I want to change its color, click on the color. It is now red. I can move it around. I can change its opacity to make it sort of transparent. All those things, you change them from the layers. So I hope this is clear. The layer thing is a new thing. And I know that for a long time, Descript actually called all of these objects that you have on your timeline layers, but people thought they were tracks. And they really aren't, because they do not play in sync. The only tracks in Descript are the ones inside of a sequence, which you add them as the tracks and they play simultaneously. If you make some cuts outside of that sequence, it will cut all of them. That's what tracks are in Descript.